Most times you go through challenges in your relationship. You begin to wonder why all the stress and where is it coming from? If you're not sensitive to what God is saying, you become frustrated because you will always be praying to God to help you heal something that is not His will for you. When certain things happen in your relationship and you don't understand what it is, here are 3 signs to help you see that God is probably pulling you to wait for a better option time. Number 1, when the relationship begins to fall apart. Are you currently discouraged because things are falling apart in your relationship? Do you feel bad because the relationship you expected to be going to the final stage is grumbling before your eyes? Don't worry, God is about doing something new. You just need to see it. Something you never saw coming, something better than what you expected. Something new is coming your way. Just wait for it. When certain things happen and you can't explain why they are happening, just keep trusting God, because it's a sign that probably God is saying to you that it is not yet time. Someone better is coming your way. When you love a person and 2 of you have come a long way, but somehow when you expected that the relationship is supposed to wax strong, that is when you both are becoming more distant. During this stage you will realize that things that you both don't use to argue about have now become an issue. You would also be trying all you could for you both to return to the way that you were, but the more you try, the more the partner is making things hard. When God is pulling you to someone better, He would make the present relationship that you're in fall apart. If you do not know God, or you just not trust His judgment and know that His plans for you, which are always of good and not of bad, you might just become more and more frustrated and think that God does not want to give you a spouse. Let's look at the story of Ruth. When her husband died, she must have felt bad and thought that nothing good was coming her way. But at that time, she must have not known that God was pulling her for a better partner, and that's what God was doing. He led her to Boaz, a rich and a good man. Beloved, when you have tried all you could to make your relationship work, and it seems like the more you try, the more it falls apart, know that this is a sign, and God is pulling you to someone better. Or He is saying, wait, the time is not yet right. Don't lose faith. Just keep trusting God in the process, and He will gradually lead you to your destined spouse. Number 2, if you have lost passion and interest in the person. Love is a beautiful thing when you're in it with passion and all your interest is there. If you've been in love with a spouse for a long time, and previously you used to love them with the whole of your heart, you used to like being around them all the time, and when you think about marriage, you only see them with you in it, but for a while now you just don't like being around them. There is no passion, and when you see them, you try your best to get those feelings back, but it's not working. The truth about any relationship that you're having, and you lost interest in it even before you decided to take a step towards marriage, it's already a red flag and a sign that God is pulling you to wait for a better option. Someone better who's going to complete you in every sense. That even though you get to that point when you begin to lose the passion, you cannot just completely lose interest in them. These days, marriages are failing because people go into them for the wrong reasons. Some people go into a relationship because they feel pity for their partner, and because of that pity, they stick to them. Pity cannot sustain a relationship. Somehow in the middle, you would get bored and frustrated with that your partner. Being with someone because you feel pity for them is not going to take you far. So if you are already feeling out of love with that partner, don't force it. Don't put yourself in a place where God has not destined you to be, when God has already done the difficult part for you by helping you to lose passion in the relationship. It's just left for you to walk away. This might just be that He has better plans and options for you, and that's why He is telling you to wait. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every matter or purpose under the heaven." The time that you're going to meet the one for you is just coming. Wait, for now God is saying wait. Number 3, when the people around you don't support the relationship. When I talk about people, I'm referring to godly people who you know that the Spirit of God dwells in them and that you know their judgment is always by the will of God. When God wants something to happen for you, there would always be a confirmation. If the people around you do not support your relationship, then it's a sign that God is pulling you to a better option and it's not yet time. Even though the decision on who you should be with is solely dependent on you because God has already given us the ability to choose, still we should not forget to always seek counsel and hear what other people have to say. Because trust me, you won't end up getting married to the wrong person and regret it for the rest of your life. It's also possible that people around you can see things about that person that you're not seeing because love has blinded your eyes. If people around you do not support your relationship, don't be sad and see it as if they don't want the best for you. But know that it's a sign that God is probably pulling you to something better, or it's just not yet time. God still speaks today in the life of every believer that trust and believe in Him. He speaks, you just need to be sensitive to what He is saying. Out of desperation and the urge to settle down, many believers have fallen into the hands of wrong partners, which they are still regretting even today, which have led to broken homes and failed marriages, which is not the will of God for His children. Also, the reason why most of you ignore all the signs, it's because of your age. Beloved, age is never the license or what qualifies you to get married. God is the owner of time, and He is never too late or early. He makes everything perfect in His time. The Bible, speaking in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 22, says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." There is simply no reason for you to doubt God. He always keeps His end of the deal, so He will bring you to your Mr. or Mrs. Right. Age should not scare you because God Himself is time. You are going to meet that someone that He has designed just for you. Waiting is not denial, and waiting on God is the best decision you would ever make, because you know that He's preparing something special for you, something you never saw coming, something bigger and better. When you go through these challenges and tough times in your relationship, don't be sad and depressed. Just trust the process. The Bible's still speaking in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God's plans for you are always beneficial for you, and they will bring you to the expected desires of your heart. It might seem difficult at first, but eventually it's all going to make sense and fall in place. You would enjoy the final result. Beloved, my prayer for you is that you go through this stage of following the directions of God, that you finally the desires of your heart. I pray that you don't fall for the pressure that comes from family and ignore the signs that God is giving you now. Forever is a beautiful place to be when you're with the right person and for the right reasons. So dear, it's time to take a break and wait to see what God is saying over your relationship. There are signs everywhere, and God is still speaking through His word, through prayers and other means. You just need to pray for the spirit of discernment, and God is going to grant you the desires of your heart. Stay blessed. You are always loved.